All right, here we go. As one Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking in for a daily Move Swiftly thought, giving you a perspective on teamwork that you will not get anywhere else. Only a couple more days of this. A couple more days of this election season, and I could get back to, in all honesty, recording this, by the way, Friday, October, I believe it's 25th, 2024. A couple days after the Democratic nominee, current sitting vice president, emphasizing the current vice president of the United States, has done some absolutely catastrophic interviews. All right, I mean, I tried my best to kind of stay quiet about this, about how bad these interviews have gone. I actually had a thumbnail ready, and I just let it go. I was just like, you know what? I'm not gonna stoop to their level. I'm not gonna stoop to that level in which I am continuously bashing someone else. I'm gonna sort of believe in, or there's still some hope, I should say, still kind of moved by Miss Michelle Obama's whole, when they go low, we go high type thing. I was still somewhat moved by that. But the more this woman keeps talking, and it's not even about Kamala Harris as much as it's honestly about the excuses that I hear from the people who are speaking up for her. And in all honesty, I believe that this woman is intelligent. I believe that this woman is incredibly accomplished for, when it comes just to her in general, for not looking at her as a potential presidential candidate, if you're just looking at her resume and what she's all about. Again, very accomplished woman, but the rhetoric and the narrative and the people that are speaking on her behalf are ruining her. They are ruining her. This party and the talking points that they're giving her, and she's not deviating. She's not speaking her truth. All of this shit is just putting in. All right, so I've limited myself to 10 curse words a day, and I just said shit. So I'm down to 9. But that's one of the things as I'm continuously getting back into going to church, starting to discipline myself in regards to that as well. But anyway, the things that people are saying about the excuses that they're making for her are just absolutely ridiculous. All right, so again, recording this after the most recent one as of this recording is this town hall that she did with CNN, where Anderson Cooper and her were on a stage and they were taking questions from people and all that kind of stuff. And again, per usual, I done got to the point with this woman in which I can't even watch an entire segment of hers. I have to go and catch the clips from some of the people that I do listen to, like the Anton Daniels and the Brandon Tatums of the world. I think it's Dave Reed Dawkins. They provide some commentary in which makes it so I'm able to get through one of her interviews, but I can't listen to that woman unfiltered without there being somebody taken, because the excuses and the nonsense that I have to hear from her, the word salading, is just ridiculous. Especially myself as a podcast host, as a person who has interviewed some badass women that have done some incredible things. It is a joke when it comes to what we're having to listen to from our current vice president and a potential leader of our country. All right, so anyway, one of the things about this specific town hall was some of the feedback that she was getting from her own party, from people who support her, right, was, hey, she didn't answer the question direct. She wasn't answering the questions directly. And, obviously the undecided voters still have mixed feelings because they don't know specifically what she's about, because she spends so much time, so much of every part of her answer is about what Trump did and what Trump wouldn't do. She talks so much about Donald Trump in every single one of her interviews. It's like anybody with a level of common sense would say, okay, well, what if Donald Trump wasn't the person on the ticket? Like, what if the Republicans found somebody else that wasn't Donald Trump? I mean, would you even have anything to say at all in regards to what you're going to do, what's going to make you better, right? So anyway, some of the Kamala advocates have had the audacity to say stuff like, oh, well, she's being held to a higher standard. I'm going to pause there. That's actually what today's video is all about. And I'll probably do a deeper dive on this in I'm going to start doing regular live streams as well. All right, so let's sort of pander that. Let's entertain that argument. in which, all right, she's being held to a higher standard, which is completely untrue. But I'm just for the sake of this, I'm going to entertain that argument. If she was being held to a higher standard, that's the way it should be. All right, that's the way it should be. She should be being held to a higher standard. Number one, she's currently in office. So yes, we're going to hold a person who's currently in office to a higher standard than the person who you guys say is a threat to democracy, is Adolf Hitler, is all these. Now, you can't think of one decent thing to say about Donald Trump. So yes, when people ask about your specific policy and what makes you better, your standards are going to be held so ridiculously high because you have torn down your opponent every single opportunity that you've had. You have torn him down over and over, and it's not enough that you're actually in office. So obviously, you're going to be held to a higher standard. Why is that a problem? Why is that a situation in which you're looking at it like, oh, it's not fair? This is another curse. Sorry, again, another curse. But I'm down to 8. This is politics. It's not. It's dirty. It's gonna not be fair. But when you spend your time going into this political game and you're deciding that you're gonna bash and tear down the opponent so much, and again, I'm not speaking specifically in Kamala Harris's camp, but so many of her supporters are speaking so negatively about Trump, then obviously the other option is going to be held to a certain standard. No, SHIT word, right? You can't do the things. You can't do the things that she's doing and then expect not to be held to a higher standard and just move like that. That's what's so ridiculous about this entire thing. And then on top of that, when you look at the opponent that she's talking about, for some reason he keeps winning. He is back again. There's a huge portion of the country that is obviously thinks he's good enough to be the leader, and that they didn't have a problem with what he was doing in 2016 when he had the office. So again, for you to spend the past couple months tearing a person down who obviously there's a large group of people in this world want to see in office, that is showing no remorse. That's showing no empathy. That's showing absolutely, now close your mouth. That's just a big fat proverbial FU to so many people in America, because you're showing no accountability whatsoever in regards to no respect in regards to who your opponent is. And ultimately it's making it like, okay, the people who may like something he's about, okay, obviously, or you're indirectly saying the people who may like what he's about, then they're stupid and they shouldn't even be living in America. That's the rhetoric you're pushing, and that's where the issue actually is. Again, I have a lot more on this. I have a whole lot more on this, but the main thing, the lesson to take away from all of this is whenever you are in a competition with somebody, you're not, eventually, if you spend so much time tearing down your competitor, tearing down your opponent, tearing down those people that you may have an issue with, if you spend so much time doing that, eventually people are going to want to know what you bring to the table. And yes, eventually you will be held to a higher standard because you've spent so much time tearing the other person down as opposed to building yourself up. That is the issue, and that's what we're seeing play out in our very eyes with our current 2024 election. All right. All that being said, main website to check out to dive deeper into all my work, it's makeyourmove.com. That's makeyourmove.com. One-stop shop for your teamwork and your self-development needs. As one Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.